Hi guys, I haven't sat down and spoken to you in like 2 weeks because my last video was like a vlog kind of, and I haven't done like an update or a Q&A in a while, so I thought I would just sit and talk with my friends. I know I make a lot of Q&As and I make a lot of sit down videos where I just talk to you, but that's kind of my whole reason for having this channel. Like, I just like to talk to you guys and update you, and I think that you can never stop asking me questions, so we're gonna do another one. Okay, so I just asked you guys on my Instagram to ask me, quote, interesting questions about my life. So here's what we got. First question, and this is really the question that everybody's asking me. Has your ADHD gotten better since you started a new job? How are you taking care of your mental health with your new job? How is your new job? Do you get bored when you do your new job? Everybody's asking me about that. So honestly, I really can't answer all those questions in one video or question because I feel like there's just a lot to talk about. But it's going really well. I have a lot of responsibility and it's kind of slowly piling on. Today was like the first day that I got really overwhelmed because, as you guys know, I'm in like a social media management type of position. So I'm making content, posting content, running like a Facebook, Instagram page type of thing. So I wasn't actually posting anything or like creating any content this past 2 weeks. I was kind of just learning about all the systems that they use and the company and all this stuff. But as of today, I'm now going to be posting on Facebook and Instagram. So I'm a little bit nervous because, as someone mentioned, my ADHD, I forget a lot of things. I get overwhelmed, I get tired, and I just like shut down sometimes. Like right now, even after I just had a day of working, I'm like, oh, what's going on? So I'm kind of nervous that I'm gonna get overwhelmed and like forget things or miss things or mess things up. It's really scary because the only jobs I've ever had in my life, I haven't had this much responsibility. So like if I messed up, it was like, okay, yeah, like my sister got mad at me, but like that's pretty much the extent of it. Whereas this is like a real job, you know, like obviously I can make mistakes and that's okay, but I don't want to fail and I don't want to like make too many mistakes or make a big mistake or embarrass myself or whatever. So I'm kind of nervous about that, but generally it's going really well. I really like the structure. I really like the responsibility. I work pretty much all day long from 9 to 5, and it is a little bit flexible because it's work from home. So like I can, you know, leave in the middle. Like today I left for an hour to bring Emin something that he forgot to one of his photo shoots, and it's definitely flexible. So it's good. I'm starting to get overwhelmed. I'm starting to get a little bit stressed because I'm still trying to post once a week on YouTube, and it's honestly really easy to post once a week, but I need to make my YouTube videos on the weekends, and I didn't make a YouTube video last weekend, so now I'm having to make it in the middle of the week, which is not a good idea. Like I'm supposed to just be editing during the week, so I kind of let myself fall behind, which was a bad idea. But other than that, it's going good. And if you guys want to see more videos about my new job, like please let me know because I feel like there's a lot of videos I can make about it, and I definitely will, like in the coming weeks. Okay? All right, next question. Someone said how to have a separate life from your partner, and this is a really good question because Emin is about to leave for tour in a couple days. I'm actually going with him to the first stop of the tour, which is this weekend in Phoenix, and then I'm coming back home, and then I'm flying to Texas to see him at this festival, which I'm so excited about. It's gonna be so fun. So if anyone's coming to any of his tour dates, please let me know because I want to see you there. But anyway, it's a very much separate myself from Emin time in my life right now. That sentence did not make sense, but I have been trying to separate myself from Emin for months now because you guys know I've been trying to be more independent. So I really feel like I've successfully done it for the most part. Like he's about to leave for over a month and I'm gonna be fine. Like obviously I'll miss him and I'll be very sad, and there will be nights where I get very lonely and don't leave my house and don't talk to anyone all day long, and that sucks. But in general, like I have more than enough stuff to do when you put together, you know, my job, my YouTube, my tutoring that I do every week. Like there's more than enough on my plate, and I have no reason to be bored or sitting around or lonely, I guess you could say, because I always have someone that I'm speaking to or at least something that I'm doing. But when it comes to separating your life from your partner, like just in general without them leaving, I feel like it's just about imagining your life if they weren't in it every day. So like I was forced to see my life with him not in it every day because he would leave for 2 weeks or a week at a time or whatever, and I was like, oh shit, like I don't do anything with my life, you know what I mean? So I feel like you just have to picture, like, if this person wasn't here right now, what would I be doing? What would I be eating for dinner? Where would I be going? Who would I be hanging out with? Would I be seeing a movie? Would I be doing a craft? Would I be working? Would I be studying? Like, what are things that maybe your partner does or you do because your partner is there that kind of distract you from your life? And maybe you need to like rein it in a little bit. Maybe you need to take some of those things back. Maybe before your relationship, you used to do something that you stopped doing, or you've always wanted to do something, but you feel like you hang out with your partner a lot and so you don't have a lot of time. Or you started going to the bed at the same time as your partner, and so you don't do stuff at night like you used to, or in the morning or whatever. That is definitely an issue that I've run into with Emin, like going to bed at the same time. So we don't really go to bed at the same time anymore, and that's fine. Like that's kind of a sacrifice that we've made because he's just a night person and I'm a morning person. And like if I want to have a happy life and wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning every day, or 8 in the morning even, like that's gonna be before him, and that means I'm gonna go to bed before him. And I used to just stay up later because I wanted to hang out with him, and I would sleep in because I wanted to be on the same schedule as him. But it caused my days to start so late, and I would be on his schedule, and I was like totally centering my life around him. It was not good. So I just kind of had to be like, sorry dude, like I know you're gonna miss me, I know you want to go to bed at the same time as me, but it's not gonna work. And like he's supportive of it. He's like, yeah, I understand, like your life sucks when you don't wake up early, so go to bed. You know what I mean? I'm gonna move because the sun is really bothering me. Before I move on to the next question, now is probably a good time to talk about our sponsor, which is Skillshare. If you guys don't know what Skillshare is, you're probably living under a rock at this point, TBH, but I love Skillshare. I probably started using them like multiple years ago when I was 16 or 17 and I was learning how to do graphic design, and I was just teaching myself, so I didn't know where else to go, and I found Skillshare and I was just shocked that you could sign up and just pay this set price, and then you can access all of these classes. Like it's not just like you pay individually for each one, and I think it's so awesome. The classes are so high quality, so consistent, so helpful. I've taken multiple classes since I first started using it back then, but there's this one class that I did and it's still on Skillshare, and it's by Dylan Mierzwinski. I don't know how you say her last name, I probably butchered that, but it's basically a class on Adobe Illustrator basics, and I remember it helped me so much when I was first learning, and it really felt like a real class, like not just like one-off video. Like it was just so helpful. So if you guys want to learn anything really, like whether it's cooking, gardening, or you know, some kind of graphic design or tech thing, like there's so many classes on there that you guys can do, and I personally from experience seriously recommend it. Like when I first got it, I was raving to all my friends about how cool it was that I could learn all this stuff on Skillshare. So if you want to try Skillshare, the first 1,000 of my viewers to sign up using my code or my link in the description will get a free month trial of Skillshare. So just go to the link in my description, use my code or use my link, and you will get 1 month free of Skillshare. So you can start doing a class today. Okay, thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Let's go back to the questions. The next question is, talk about your mommy/daddy issues if you're comfortable. This is because in my last video, I said that I was really happy you guys were saying that you were proud of me because I have mommy and daddy issues. So when anyone says that they're proud of me, it makes me really happy. The thing is, people ask me about my parents, and I don't ever want to like throw them under the bus. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys notice this, but I don't really talk that much about like the way I was raised as like a baby or a young child, or like my trauma or whatever, because I don't know, I just don't want to make my parents look bad because they definitely messed up on a lot of things, as every parent does. And I even like went to therapy with my mom when I was younger to try to like forgive her, because I was a very angry young teenager and I used to just like listen to All Time Low in my headphones and ignore her and be mad at her all day, because we definitely did not get along for a lot of my life. And then my dad just kind of was absent because he was working. So I don't know, I want to talk about it in depth because it is something that affected me a lot, like the way I was raised by my parents. Not talking about my siblings or religion or anything like that, I'm just talking about like how they were as parents. But also like they're different people now, and my relationship with my parents is pretty good now, and I don't want to throw them under the bus or like make them look bad or feel bad. So I don't know if I want to like talk about that in depth, but there's a attachment style thing that you guys may have heard about. This is my best way of describing like how my relationship was with my parents. There's an attachment style theory or whatever, where it's like the way that your parents raise you causes you to form attachments with people, and they're affected in different ways. So like, you know, attachments would be like relationships. So one example of these attachment styles is like the first way people view relationships is that I'm bad, like internally, and like you don't trust yourself, but you do trust other people and you look to other people for support. And then another way that your parents can raise you that can cause you to think a certain way is an attachment style where you trust yourself but you don't trust other people, so you look to yourself for support. And when someone screws you over, you're like, oh, I knew it, I could never trust them, I need to go to myself. And then there's a way that I believe that I have or had, I don't know if I've like fixed it or whatever, that is you don't trust yourself and you also don't trust other people. So that kind of comes when you don't have a lot of emotional or physical support, like actual like care, as a young child. And basically that just caused me to kind of not trust myself or trust anybody else. So like I suck and also the world sucks, and it gives you this very bleak perspective of humanity, like no one's there for me and I'm also not there for myself. Like I can rely on myself. I think I'm probably one of the most independent people I know. Like I can pay for myself. I live in a different state than my whole family. Like I don't really lean on anyone except Emin. At the end of the day, like I just think to my core, I don't trust most people. And it took me 3 years or so to think that Emin wasn't gonna just randomly leave me. And I still kind of think that sometimes. So yeah, that's the best way to describe my mommy and daddy issues. Someone asked, sorry, this is too intimate. Do you take birth control? Not anymore. Yeah, I was on birth control for like 4 years and I hated it for the most part. When I was on the progestin only pill when I was like 18, that was probably my easiest birth control experience. However, I was very inconsistent in taking it because you have to take the pill every night or morning or whatever at the same time every single time. And yet you can't miss a single day. And I would miss days all the time because I would forget, or I would sleep over at Emin's house constantly and forget to bring my pill or whatever. So I was always throwing up and like having to take 2 pills or whatever, and it was not great. So after a long time of using the pill, then I got off of it, and then I switched to the implant, which I had for like a couple months, and I hated it because I literally bled the whole time that I had it. And then I just got it taken out, and it cost a shit ton of money, and I'm still paying off my medical bill from when I got that implanted and removed. Like, it's so expensive, and they didn't even tell me that. Like, they didn't warn me that it was going to cost me thousands of dollars, so I wouldn't have done it if I knew that, but whatever. After a while, I was kind of just like, I don't need to be on this. Like, I don't want to get too personal, but like in terms of like the reason why I would be on birth control, I'm very safe about that. So like, I'm not the type of person who's just taking risks all the time. You know, I'm married to one person and we're very safe in that sense, so I don't need to be on birth control. Not that I'm saying other people shouldn't, because even though I think birth control can be really, really bad for your body and mess with your hormones in some negative ways, I do think that it's an unfortunate thing that a lot of people just have to do because you need to be safe and you need to not just have unwanted pregnancies. Like, that's really important. So for a lot of people, unfortunately, I think it's something you have to do. But for me, like, I don't think I'm in a spot where I absolutely have to. Like, if I were to get accidentally pregnant right now, while it wouldn't be ideal, I would be fine. And I would have a support system and I would have, you know, money to raise a kid, and it would be fine. It wouldn't be ideal, but I would be okay. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with birth control. I just feel a lot better. I feel a lot less crazy. My cycles are completely normal now, and they did not used to be normal at all. I'm happy not on it, and I feel good that I'm not like altering my hormones so much. So I was gonna do an IUD, by the way, for any of you guys wondering, like, why wouldn't you do a non-hormonal IUD? It's just so painful and it costs money, and the chance that it doesn't work well, or I hate it, or it causes horrible cramps, whatever. I didn't want to risk it and go through what I went through with Nexplanon again. Like, that was horrible. So I was just over it at that point, and I'm really happy that I made the decision to just get off entirely because I feel so much better without it. I'm going to go back to work because I have another hour of work to do, and then I have a bunch more stuff to do because I'm really overwhelmed and I have a lot to do in my life right now. So I'll talk to you guys in a few days. Goodbye.